Hey mamas, this is Charlotte from Support the Mompreneur Mastermind Group. I am so freaking excited to introduce you to my friend Cornelia. Cornelia and I were pregnant together last year. She became a mom after me and she's awesome. She's trying to figure things out while having her own business, and it's just so refreshing to watch her grow as a wonderful mom. Stay tuned, watch the video, and let me know what you think.
Yay!
Good morning.
Good morning. How
How are you? Yeah, I got my tea.
What tea are you drinking?
It's the one from David's tea with, I love, berries. So I guess this one is with raspberries and strawberries. That's my little treat in the
Very
morning.
cool.
Yes.
Because you mentioned raspberries, it always reminds me, when I was pregnant and then when I was past overdue, my midwife told me to drink a ton of raspberry leaf tea. I don't know if you heard about that. And I remember I was drinking so much of it. So I feel like just when someone says raspberry or smell raspberry or whatever it is, I keep thinking about that time, like towards the end of your pregnancy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I am so happy that you're with me.
Yeah, I'm so happy as well that we're doing this and like especially so early in the morning. Look at us. I
Yes,
mean,
right?
we have kids, right?
Where is your son?
My husband is taking care of him right now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but he
I
should be taking a nap any second, hopefully.
okay. I put mine into his bed. I was like, I know it 30 minutes before, but you're gonna be a good boy and you're gonna sleep right away. And he was like, okay. But it was chaotic this morning, so I was like, oh no, not today, not today. I have to be ready at 8:30, so not today. And he
Oh,
was like screaming. I don't know what happened last night, but it was like screaming this morning. He didn't want to do anything by himself. It was
yeah.
just chaotic, but I love him anyway.
Yeah, I know you have I mean, you do. I don't know. But no, I feel you. It's really funny. Like every time also when, there's something very important going on in my workday, I feel like he has an instinct for maybe like making it, where he has a rough night or whatever it is. But then I'm thinking like maybe, obviously our kids I feel like can feel it as well, the excitement. So maybe that what makes them a little bit uneasy. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely very interesting.
10 days after Oscar was born, there was a earthquake here in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember, but it was just 10 days old, and my
Yeah,
husband was away because he was traveling. So it was just me, my cat, and Oscar dealing with that huge earthquake. And that's exactly when I learned that kids, they feel your emotion, they feel the energy, and no matter what you're trying to hide, they'll
yeah.
feel it. And I noticed that every time I'm stressed, I have to be on time and la la la. The Oscar is terrible, and they just feel the energy, and that's very true. So
Yeah,
that's why we need to keep it down, and to meditate and to do
I know.
yoga in the morning, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. I talked about this. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram stories yesterday. Because I see you have like a yoga practice that you do every morning, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Yeah.
very inspiring, by the way. For me, like I love going for walks. Like whenever like we had a rain a couple of days ago, right? But like whenever there's not a rain, I just love going for walks and kind of clear my head. And I was talking about that yesterday on the IG stories how challenging it is. I feel like almost nowadays because you have so much that you want to be doing as a mom and business owner, that you want to keep maybe sending messages, right, or like check your emails for like client communication, whatever it is, and then I was saying it's so important to kind of make that headspace to just turn your phone off and to just relax and like be with your thoughts and allow them to come and right and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also came to the conclusion yesterday because I was with Oscar, but on my phone because you know, I, I'm back to doing more IG stories, and I think it's
Mm,
important to share the journey with other moms. So maybe they
yeah,
can follow along or they can do it with me, or we can inspire each other and support each other. So I started to be more present on IG stories, which I wasn't for a long time just after I gave birth because I didn't feel like I wanted to share too much of that very particular time with my son. But
yeah,
now that I'm back, I'm wondering, I don't want my son to see me on my phone all the freaking time. And I can see the difference with him. Like as soon as he sees my phone, he's going
yeah.
crazy. He wants to touch it. Like he's even screaming and crying now. And I'm like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That's that's an interesting thought, right? Like a challenge that we're running into, which I feel like our parents, they didn't have to deal with, right? And that electronic distraction, I noticed that with Cosmo as well. Like he gets, every time there's a noise coming, you know, like a messaging or whatever it is, and I'm, for instance, breastfeeding him, and then he like gets distracted. It's yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I feel like one of the things that's important too about that is like, I don't know about you, but like becoming a mom too, I have been so much more like focused and intentional about kind of a lot of things in my business, but particularly like was it the marketing strategies, you know, or when it comes to like operation stuff in your business. But I noticed like, especially because you mentioned that with marketing, with Instagram stories or something, I try to just like have it be a half an hour a day where I create a story, and maybe I share something like later on a day, but just be active for like half an hour, and not like the entire day through, right? Where I'm like letting myself be distracted. So I typically save up the stories. Not a lot of people know that, and then like I post it, like sometimes even the next day. But I post it at like, you know, a specific time, and I think that that has allowed me a little bit to be more like present, you know, with
Yes,
like Cosmo.
that's a good idea. What I like as well about the story, and that's why it's so challenging right now for me. And I'm right in middle. Like, is it too much right now for us, or is it okay? It's just like I really want my followers to, you know, feel the flow of the day and how you can actually be on schedule and have a little baby, but still be able to do your things.
Yeah.
Not saying that all the kids are the same. I'm pretty lucky because mine is a good eater, is a good sleeper, so I got
Yeah, I know.
plenty of time to do my things. But you know, like trying to share the routine like every day and repeating it, because when you repeat the thing, that's when it hits you, and that's when you start to create new good habits.
Mm.
So right now I'm just in the middle of like, should I do it less? And I like your idea of saving everything, but then you post everything at the same time.
Typically, yeah. Like if I have, you know, because the thing is like, what I'm trying to think about more intentional too is like, why are we using the Instagram stories, right? So in your case, like you were saying, is like you want to use it because you can really, you know, share the day, of course, with, you know, fellow mompreneurs, and that they get an idea that they can get it done, right? I feel like for, you know, for me as well, like I'm trying to think like I like to share, of course, like, and you've seen it, like something of value, right? And switch it off with like something entertaining that happens during my day, you know, with Cosmo. But also most of the time something of value to my followers if it comes to marketing or mindset.
Hmm.
And because of that, I feel like I like the thought of like saving it in advance, the story of what I want to share. Because I feel like that's how my audience can get the most value out of my account, right? Because it's not so much about me, right? It's like about why I'm posting
Hmm.
for, you know, for my audience, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And what I like, it's your stories are so real. Like yesterday, I love your story yesterday where you were trying to explain something to your audience and be super serious. And suddenly you hear your son and you're like, he
Yeah.
needs me. Okay, so did you understand what I said? Okay, I have to go. Bye. It was
I
very,
know, right?
and I loved it very, very much.
Yeah. See, that's interesting because I was actually thinking of like deleting that last part because I felt a little uncomfortable, you know, because you're trying to juggle this balance of professionalism, you know, when you're using your social media for your business as well or for client attraction, and then between realness. And like I always like to then lean towards the realness because that's, I feel like, how you're also attracting the right, you know, clients or students or customers that really vibe with you and that can understand your life, right? So yeah.
I did one live with Oscar nearby, and I thought it was going
How
to
was
be
it?
quiet because it was in his park and it was just like with the stars, just perfect. I was under the sun, just trying to do my readings with you guys. And suddenly something terrible happened in his little life, and he starts screaming, and you cannot hear me anymore on the live. But I was, you know, I was keeping going, and I did the whole thing. I'm not sure that you can hear anything that I said, but it felt real, so I just kept it.
I love it. Yeah, it is, you know, and it's like it shows exactly how it is, you know, the
Yes.
exact behind the scenes. Oh, which is one of the reasons why I don't know if you follow Sarah Blakely, like her Instagram account. I feel like she's one of the CEOs that is very actually active on it. Like, right, and a lot of CEOs her levels are not even using social media. Um, that's I love it, you know, because she totally shows like the very challenging aspects of, you know, being a mom, right, of like having 4 kids and trying to juggle a business and everything like that. And right now she's like out somewhere. Her husband bought an RV because he got tired of the work, you know, just being at home, the quarantine. And then all of a sudden they are spending their entire time in the RV driving around like in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of like very entertaining. And then in the middle of that, she, for instance, yesterday had to do like a Forbes interview, and she did it from like a trailer park, and like the kids were running like over there. It's really funny. It's like you have to compartmentalize your mind in a way.
Yes. And I think at least your ideal client is understanding your life, and that's what makes you so human and so, appealing for them because they
Yeah.
go through the same challenge. So
Yeah. No, for sure.
I want you to introduce you to the community. I want you to let them know what you're doing, because you're such a wonderful mama first, but also a wonderful
Oh,
digital marketer who has such an amazing background and ideas. And something that touched me not long ago about you, it's how open you are about your story, and you talk about your many failures
mm,
before you succeeded in doing exactly what you wanted with your
yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And so tell us more.
Oh my gosh, that's a long story. No, but essentially, like I know what I think what you're referring to, that one Instagram post that I did, right, where it was essentially also I felt like early on that I wanted to do um something different than like the corporate route, right? But my parents, which was interesting, my dad, he was a mechanical engineer, and so he totally followed the corporate route, and he was pretty successful in that, and that's what he always wanted for my brother and I. And my mom, she actually was in a network marketing business, so completely a little bit different, right? For 35 years, and she's like, you know, the best. Like, she doesn't have any problem, like when we're out and about, she kind of talks to every stranger, and then in 1 minute she's like their best friend, which is really interesting. So I grew up with those different kind of views, but like I never kind of knew someone that maybe like had their own business, especially when it comes online. You know how when we grew up, right?
Mhm.
During this time right now, and I knew that I always wanted to travel, and I wanted to be very just flexible. And because of that, like I realized that I wanted to create an online business, but I didn't know how. And when I started with, for instance, stuff with, I don't know if you've ever seen those survey emails that were back in the day, like 15 years ago. For instance, you sign up, it's like if you survey, for instance, this product or this company online, you're getting 25 cents for every survey that you fill out. And I remember I made like $1 or something, and I was like, yes, I can do this. Um,
It's still actual, like that still exists.
it does, right?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, yeah. And then I just kind of went from there. Like I ended up after college, because I hadn't figured it out yet. In college, I was trying to create like an app company, and that totally failed. Like it was not a good product, and we didn't like research and validate the idea first. We were trying to build it first, which I learned a big lesson. And then the second thing was just that when I decided then to do a corporate job like after I graduated from college, because I hadn't figured out how to be independent yet, you know, with like my business ideas. And then I remember a friend of mine introduced me to like freelancing, and I had no idea what that was. I didn't know what Upwork was, what Fiverr was, what any of that was. And then I just remembered I got so excited about it. I don't know about you, like when I find out something new and I feel like I'm on the right track, you know, I totally get immersed in it. And I remember every time I was a very great employee, I have to say that, but I did take extensive bathroom breaks. So every time I went to the bathroom, I was like, you know, in the stall, and I was like, okay, let's try to close a gig. Let's try to see what else I can offer, you know, that people would want to pay for. And then essentially, like in that way, you know, I figured out like the niche for my first business, where I created like an e-commerce company where we did product photography, not e-commerce, sorry, but we did product photography and commercial photography for e-commerce businesses. And then after that, like, I did that for like 2 years, and it never kind of really took off. It was a little bit of a struggle in terms of like figuring out packaging and also being able to kind of travel, because whenever I did travel, the business would, take a
Yeah.
turn like towards like the like it would crash, so to speak. And then I had to build it back up again. And so essentially, like organically, I kind of stumbled across like marketing and funnels, because I remember even back then I wanted to find a way to automate a lot of stuff and just be really intentional in how I would grow the business. And then when a friend of mine from a mastermind told me about like funnels, and that I can create something online where clients would find me automatically, and I don't have to go out, to networking events and like get them like you would do in the past, right? I was like, are you serious? Something like that exists? And then, I just went that route and like learned a lot. And then organically, when I did it for my business back then, I realized that I was more interested and felt more passionate about doing now the digital marketing and the funnels than I was doing the product photography for e-commerce businesses. So I essentially just ended up transforming that, and then went further with the marketing agency. So that was sort of like a very roundabout way to tell you my last 10 years.
Yes, but now you have the knowledge, the experience, and the skills to coach people and to consult with people
Yeah.
about sales funnel. And sales funnel are so freaking important in
Yeah.
any type of business.
Yeah.
Even if you're just a blogger, even if you just want to, no matter what your goals are, of course, you should aim to sell something at the end for sure. But if you just want to build your email list, funnel is important. If you want to grow your Instagram following, funnel
Mhm.
is important as well. Everything goes back to self funnel, and I think not a lot of people are, mastering that specific part of digital marketing, and that's so cool that you know all about that. Maybe we'll do a live training with you explaining a little bit about that.
We could. I would love to. That would be like I love it. I'm really passionate about it. And one of the reasons why I feel like now I'm more passionate about it than ever is that, since I became a mom, like, we talked about it before in terms of like having enough time available, right? Like or creating more time in your life so you can focus it and spend it with your kids, right? And to me, like funnels is something, is it's almost like an experience that you're creating. It's like you're saying, so oftentimes people are thinking, oh, a funnel or sales funnel, that's something maybe like salesy or like, super out there in your face, just trying to sell you. And that's not true. It's like you're saying like you need that strategy, or you need to create that experience, I say, for your ideal client or customer in so many variety of ways. And just kind of like create that conversation that you have one-on-one, for instance, that we would have about your business or we would have about mine, and just translate that into words on a page and into copy.
Exactly. And oh God, I lost my line. Every day at the same time, I lost something that I wanted to say.
Wait, look,
Um,
that gives me, I can take a drink of water from, I have this big jug of water, that's my water cup.
you know what? I had that cup as well. I had it. I
From
swear.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever went, is it Disney World or Disneyland in Florida? And I got this one. I
Well,
remember.
they all Disneylands have the same because I definitely got this one.
I
Yes, I
love it.
remember. I wanted to say that what is a funnel exactly is the roadmap to build your reputation
Mhm.
for your customer, and that's super super important, because if you don't have any reputation, if people don't know, like, and trust you, it's going to be super super hard to transform that into something that is profitable for your business.
Yeah, that's 100% sure. It's exactly like you're saying. That's why you're creating a sales funnel to have someone like get to know you, like you, and
Mhm.
trust you. Of down the line, like buying maybe from you, and or taking you up on your services. But I feel like the sales funnel, um, it's also very important because it is, like I said already, like creating a story. And now I'm gonna take another sip of water because now I lost my line. Give me a second.
No problem. I think
Look
it's the
it up.
mommy brain, you know. Sometimes you're just thinking of something and something else hits you and you just lost it. But that's okay. Have a sip.
Thought it was just me. Like seriously, it's really, really funny. That's why I love it though, because most of the time, I do work with nowadays with like women. I've worked with in the past it was funny because my majority of clients were men, and then it kind of transformed because I feel like a lot more women now they are not allowing themselves to be so intimidated anymore by all the tech stuff out there. In the past, I feel like that's why it was more men. And now, though, like my clients are mostly women and are also moms, and I kind of really like it because we understand each other, and it's a so much more kind of relaxed way also to work. Because you're just flexible, you understand it,
Mhm.
you're really focused on doing the most things that you can at the little time that you have available. So that has been quite a joy.
I yeah, I can totally relate to that. And it's funny because since I gave birth and even before when I was pregnant, I got so much clarity by having that little boy to take care of, and that was such a blessing for it, like in my personal life for sure, but also in everything around
Yeah.
me and my professional life as well. Give me
Yeah.
so much clarity because now you want to go just straight to the point so that you are able to spend more time with the little boy and build something for him.
That's true. Yeah. No, I love that you said that. I feel like it's also, I don't know if you had that same experience, but I felt like almost for me, it was expanding my consciousness. I know that sounds very maybe like spiritual or like out there.
We love
Um,
spirituality here.
Yay. But no, it felt like that for me. And it's exactly like you said, I felt like it was a blessing in so many different ways. And I feel like also how in terms of like also even wealth creation, because you obviously have a kid now, but I felt like it really expanded it in a lot of ways, the abundance, because you feel so much joy most of the time, even though it's like tough as heck sometimes, but you also feel so much joy and love. And I think because of that, right, it automatically attracts more abundance. I was even talking to a friend of mine, which was really funny because she was saying every time she had a kid, her income grew. So it was almost like like another step of the way to um kind of overcome your limits, and expanding yourself further. So yeah.
Absolutely. I want to talk about something because you are an awesome content creator and you have a podcast and you have your new season that just came out.
That's true. Yeah. So it's called the Bold Voices podcast. And again, I really love it because I wanted to focus on just helping people kind of really uncover the layers of finding their own voice, right? Because most of the time I feel like because there's so much noise going around us, that we can get distracted, and many people don't have clarity in what they want to be doing, and or they don't have confidence, right, in just going out there and doing it, what their inner voice kind of tells them. And so my inspiration was I remember like I was flying back from a conference last year, and then while I was up in the air, I kind of like had this inner voice come to me where it's just like, Bold Voices, that's like the name of the podcast, let's do that. And that's sort of the concept, and then I wrote down all of the ideas. And so I'm just really excited about that. And most of the time we're switching off between having I'm having interviews with mostly also women entrepreneurs, because I'm really passionate about obviously that group of people because I'm part of it. And yeah, we're interviewing it, and I'm trying to dive really deep into their story and the challenges that they overcame and all this kind of good stuff. And yeah, it's really exciting. And then we mix that also with marketing and business hacks, because I feel like you need both. You need the mindset thing, and you need the practicality of things to make your business thrive.
Yeah, totally agree with that. That's why I'm launching my own podcast. I may launch sooner than I thought because I have a lot of content, which is awesome. But yeah, my goal with the podcast was just like you, showing the real life, but with some aspect of, the business side because it's important. And as a mom, I feel like it's not just a trend that is going to fade. Like people are going to be more and more independent, and women and moms even more. And that's part of the whole even education and how you raise your kids. You want, I don't know, I'm talking for myself, but I really want my son to know that in life, everything is possible. And so having my husband working into a corporation and
Yeah.
me working as an independent and entrepreneur, he has the full, spectrum of what it takes on both sides. And I am
Mhm.
so grateful for that and kind of very proud of that as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you can be, because you're doing, I mean, such an amazing job, and you're so consistent. Like I absolutely love it. Like, just so you know, you're definitely an inspiration. Like, I'm already expecting every day to see like your tags or you post, because I know you're gonna do them. So I really, really love that. And no, I agree with you. I actually, like, I was even working more on, like, like finding also education material for like my son already, that is, like you're saying, showcasing him that he can really create anything that he wants to in his life. Because I feel like, and I don't know how it was for you, but I feel like maybe we grew up more pragmatic almost, right, in Europe, more traditional. And so even, with my mom, obviously, then, like, doing the network marketing, I still feel like it wasn't even close to, being what a lot of people here in the States, or in California, right, grow up with, in terms of like having your own business and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like it's, or entertainment for that matter,
Mhm.
right, because we live in LA. But yeah, I love that, like you're saying, that he can be anything that he wants to be.
And it's funny because I started my career in Paris. I worked for Marie Claire, the fashion magazine. I was
Oh.
online already. I was doing the partnership with super amazing brand, Levi's, and it was all about fashion and beauty. And I had their dream job. But when I thought about it now, I'm like, no, it wasn't my dream job. And
Yeah.
it's funny how life is pushing you towards different direction, and if you take the opportunity, it can totally create something different that you thought, and something that is even better that you ever dreamed. And that was the case for me. My husband, after, well, I met my husband when I was 16, but we separated for 4 years. And when we met again 9 months after, hello, Marcel.
I understand.
9 months after, he told me, hey, I have that huge opportunity to go to Los Angeles. Would you come with me? And I'm like, okay, I have my dream job. What should I say? I don't speak English. Well, it's a hell of a challenge. I would say yes, because at that time already I loved the challenge, but I didn't expect what was going to happen for sure. And I didn't even expect that being independent and being an entrepreneur was, written in my book. So it was a huge discovery and I don't regret it, never. But I have to say that my big dream when I was younger, to go back to your point, was to work in a big corporation.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I love that too, that you said that, because it's almost, that's like the tough part, sometimes, about being an entrepreneur, business owner, or maybe about life in general, is that when
Mm-hmm.
you have like challenges, right? um and or you have like opportunities that present yourself, and they're always connected with like a challenge, right? And it's like, if you're going towards that, though, it's like you can live the most amazing and magical and unconventional life, right? And it shows, because your story is also, like, I love that, like, so unique, and all your experiences. And I feel like, for me too, like, just that we are here too, we are pretty, I mean, we're like, I think, an hour and a half away from each other. But still, like, that we're here in California and all this kind of stuff, I feel like that is pretty amazing about, life, where you can end up with, you never know. And I'm so excited to see that also, like, with my son, because I feel like right now, the times too, it's even though there's so many challenges, it's also, there are so many opportunities.
Yes. And I want to ask you something because I know
Yeah.
you love traveling. How do you see that part of yourself now that you have a son? When we are out of the lockdown, how do you incorporate traveling to your
That's a
life?
good point. I actually, like, we're working towards it now. I think we see it a little bit more practical right now. But my husband and I were talking about it, and we wanted to always kind of divide up our time, anyways. So meaning that we're gonna have, like, here our home in California, but also we have like an apartment in Vienna, and then we would like to have like another house or apartment in South Korea, because I studied abroad in South Korea for like 9 months, right? So I'm still in love with that city too. And so our thought process was we wanted to travel, but we're going to do it where we are going to have 3 different stations, and then dividing up our time during the year, and then travel from there. So, when we're in Europe, we only travel around, for instance, in Europe, or, Africa, or, when we're America, travel around here, or South America, and then in Asia. And so our thought process was just we wanted to kind of really have our son grow up like as a global
Mhm.
citizen. Um, and yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. But we're not gonna do it anymore with where we did it in the past. You probably know that, where we put all of our stuff in storage and then just travel around and pick a new place every few months. I don't know, that would be too good. So yeah, a little
Well,
more stability.
exactly. Now you have a son.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think of having another one?
Oh, that's a good question. We keep talking about that. Like, so on the good days, I'm like, yeah. On the challenging days, I'm like, I'm not sure. So it keeps going back and forth. How about you?
I want one or two more.
Oh, I love that.
And I wasn't even like, I didn't have motherhood inside me even when I was, because there are
I was the
girls,
same.
little girls, where they're like, oh, I want a baby, and they're 5 year old. I was not like that. I was playing with
Weird.
Barbie, and it was adult stories, like never, no, never like, no, it was not my thing at all.
Yeah.
Now that I have Oscar, and I feel so fulfilled by being a mother and taking care of that little. I even feel like my relationship with my husband has exploded in a way,
Yeah.
like we always had a wonderful relationship, but now with Oscar it's like, I don't know, it's even more love, and that make me think
An
like,
adventure.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Mm.
another one or two might be great, but just not during the lockdown, I guess.
Oh
let's
my gosh.
let's let's be smart.
I know, right? No, I love that. Like, I think we're definitely thinking about it, because it turns out to be that even though it's challenging, we really love it. Like, I'm exactly like with you. I'm exactly like that too, where for the longest time, I never thought that I would want to be a mom. And then when I was open to that year, it actually took us, quite a few years to even, obviously have Cosmo. Like, we weren't ever like pressuring it so much, because I like to be open to the idea of what happens in that way happens, right? I wanted it to be natural. But yeah, my husband, you probably know that too, because we met when I was 17. And so we also have been together, married for, I think it's been over 13 years now. So a long time. But yeah, I absolutely love the idea, and I love being a mom now. So it's interesting how life goes.
One last question. How can I support you? How can the community support you? I know that you want some comment and rating on your podcast.
Yeah.
But what else?
Great question. Let me think real quick. Um, well, I am working on a new program right now, where I'm trying to work, essentially like a program that will help you figure out the right funnel strategy for your particular business and situation and niche, and make it easy for you to implement super fast. And I know that there are programs like that out there, but because I feel like, especially also because I'm a mom right now, and I have been an agency, meaning I've worked with so many clients on their funnels, the implementation
Mhm.
strategy. I see it from that point of view of a more holistic approach, because I don't just believe in like one strategy and this is what you have to be doing to be successful, because it's not true. Every business is very unique. And so while there are some similar rules, of course, I wanted to kind of really incorporate this, and make it approachable and quick to implement. So essentially, like, I'm gonna launch the beta version soon on that, and I would love to just get some feedback, especially from moms who are business owners as well, on how they are thinking. For instance, they like the sales page, in terms of if that program outline is good, if they have any questions. So it was a long answer, but that's pretty much it.
Cool. Thank you very much. I for
Thank
sure,
you.
yeah, send me anything that you have when it's ready, and I'll be happy to do that. And
Great.
we'll post something on the group as well to see if there's other wonderful members who wants to participate. It
Sounds
was
great.
so great to have you this morning. I heard your little alarm that you have an appointment in 30, like less than 30 minutes. I do too. But anyway, I wanted to thank you so very much. I'm going to turn off the live. If you like the video, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I will bring you even more mom and even more tips. If you think of someone who could benefit from this video, please share it. Share it massively because you never know who you could have an impact on. So share it massively and help your friends out. I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode.